It is Tuesday night. It means it's time for Wonder here on Indigo. And it's going to be an amazing show. How good is it? You're going to see this episode and you're going to be like, wow. Yes, that's how good it's going to be.
Wow.
Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight and enjoying our brand new setup here for Wonder. Ooh. There's a lot of fun, interesting things happening here on Indigo Chameleon. And so this is the part in the show where we do our announcements. Tuesday nights are a night for Wonder. Thursday nights are usually reserved for Creative Chaos. What are we doing? We don't know yet. So you'll have to tune in and be watching us on Discord. Be sure to follow us on Discord and stuff like that. You'll see show announcements as they come. So please give us a follow there. Not only give us a follow there, but give us a like up top. Click that little heart. Or if you're feeling even more magnanimous, give us a subscription. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. It's for free. So please, if you have the second to do that, we would love your support. Creative Chaos is Thursday. Sunday night is usually reserved for board games and card games and things of that nature. However, if you were paying attention last week, we did a really fun one-shot. That was just sort of spontaneous, spur of the moment. What a crazy random happenstance. And I don't know about you guys, I'm getting itchy. I kind of want to do it again, but I also want to play games. So we'll see what happens. Me no. It's going to be great. We have our lovely cast and crew. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hi. And we also want to thank, this is the very first episode of Wonder that we are doing with our sponsor. We have a brand new sponsor for Wonder. We are very happy to be representing Critical Dice. Critical Dice, thank you so much who have tuned in to Wonder. Should we do a golf clap? Wonder clap?
Woo! Oh wait, sorry, I overdid.
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy.
And their info is now up via Nightbot.
So Critical Dice, thank you so much for your love, your support. They are so kind to us. They have a product out right now that I cannot recommend highly enough. It is called the Endless Bag of Dice. It is a dice subscription service, which is amazing. It's $6.99 a month. They send you a brand new, unique pair of dice. And you can do that. We'll have some promo codes, and not only that, but we're going to have some giveaways to do on Wonder, courtesy from Critical Dice. One of my favorite dice that they have is a D20, which we got to see in action last week, where on the one, it just says no. I would like to pick that lock. No. And it reminded me of Eric, because every time somebody rolled it, I could just see him going, no. So, yes. I think that's all the announcements that we have. When last we left our intrepid our intrepid band of adventurers, they had stumbled into town for the first time and were sort of enjoying some time spent in town. This was after a fight between a dire wolf and a man wolf.
It could have been great.
Which is my least favorite of the Spider-Man supervillains.
It will be great. It's only a matter of time.
It's only just begun.
Everybody sort of went their separate ways when it came to the town. We had two of our sort of like nerds go off and look at the library. It's a bad thing. You're kind of nerdy, but nerd and proud. We had the cool kids that wanted to do drugs.
I wasn't doing drugs. I was making drugs.
And we had some
Stage school kids. This is time for an after-school special moment.
Yeah.
We're like, hey kids. Hi guys.
Don't make drugs; they could explode.
And then the more sane member of our party wasn't going to the library or doing drugs, was threatening children in a small shop not too far away. We are going to return right back to the action to the apothecary, where Madigan had a small child that was sort of sitting on his head. With big old curly red hair and sort of like looking down at you and said, well, you really fucked that up, didn't you? And let's return back to that right now.
Okay. Who the fuck are you?
I'm your hat. What do you mean, who am I?
Why do you look like a boy?
Why do you look like the way you look?
Right, but I looked this way before the explosion.
Well, I looked like this before. There was an explosion.
You weren't here?
Well, yes, but I wasn't paying attention.
So, Can I?
You've always jumped him?
I wanna like look and see if there's anything around
Sure.
left from the explosion.
He sort of pops up. There is still a great deal of blue smoke sort of in this room.
Okay.
And it's sort of filtering out from underneath the door and stuff like that. Through the blue smoke, you see the child sort of walking around and sort of like looking at debris and things of that sort. But you do notice in front of you, where you were sort of distilling sort of your work, you have 5 sort of capsules. Consider this a big bad multivitamin, like one of those big,
Okay.
like this is like a hard pill to swallow literally and metaphorically.
Okay.
So you do have something that you can work with there, but the hat is just sort of walking around, sort of looking at the shelves and picking things up. He picks up like a glass thing and sort of drops it on the ground and it shatters. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
He comes over to where you're standing and
Okay.
stuff like that and sort of sees you mouth agape.
Yeah.
And says, why do you look so confused right now?
Because 5 minutes ago you were a hat.
Yes, but you're a hatter. You're supposed to deal in the impossible. You're supposed to... This should not shock you. You throw me at things and I bite them.
Right, but if I throw you at things now, it's going to get different looks.
Well, I may not look like this in another second or so.
Fair.
So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, now would be the time to do it.
Where is the original hatter?
What do you mean? He was all over.
Right, but where is he now?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't have a way to find him?
Oh, yes. Would you like me to leave?
No. Maybe just tell me how we could find him together.
Oh, well, if I was trying to find something, I would go to the place where I last saw it.
Fair. So, Cheshire's.
Aren't you supposed to be a grown-up?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you don't act like one.
Well,
It's one of your better qualities.
I want to take a look around the apothecary and see if there's anything that I can take with me due to the fact that I was charged an obscene amount of money to use this location.
Give me an investigation
Say
check
that.
at disadvantage,
Okay.
as the smoke is still sort of clearing and stuff like that. And occasionally you'll look over as you're sort of looking around the place.
8.
Dying guys.
15.
Okay, I would say you see some materials that you are somewhat familiar with as someone that's proficient in alchemist tools that are occurring when it comes to creating a regular healing potion. It's one of the basic things that you sort of learn and stuff like that. I would say that you see the supplies sort of scattered about the shelves, and I imagine you start pilfering and,
Yes.
and putting into pockets and things of that sort.
As for basic.
The hat sort of jumps up onto the counter and sort of
Okay.
stands on the counter and says, I think the better question is, why are you looking for the other hatter?
Well, I have things I need to ask him.
What?
How I can be like him.
Why do you want to be like him? Why don't you just want to be like you?
Because I've never amounted to much, and he was...
But when he started, he wasn't amounted to much. It comes from time. If you're just copying what he looks like, nobody wants to look at that painting. They've already seen it.
That's fair. So will you help me?
I mean, I kind of am already. You just stop being so boring.
Boring.
Okay, the girl, the pretty girl. She wanted you to make pills.
Dead.
Did you want to make pills?
Well, she needed them.
That's not the question.
I thought it would be an interesting experiment. I didn't say I was giving her the pills.
Oh, okay. Well, stop being someone else and be you.
Fair.
I've already traveled with that person. I'm ready for excitement.
I hear you. I'll start acting on my own from now on.
What is your name?
Mandrake. Mandrake Madigan.
No. The first thing you said is Mandrake.
Yes.
So be Mandrake. Let Madigan come second, as it naturally does.
Fair. Do you have a name?
I do.
And it is?
And the smoke sort of dissipates. Smoke dissipates out of the room, and the hat is just sort of like the upper lid of it is coming. I need all of you. You two are out and about in the streets, so you would probably pick up on this soon. You see a commotion as people start running down the street towards the apothecary. You two are still in the library, so I would let you. There's enough people sort of chattering and yelling that you two can have perception at disadvantage. But you two just give me straight up perception as you see. You already have it at disadvantage?
Yeah, that one.
That one.
We get it at advantage?
No, just regular straight up perception.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
12?
Yeah.
21.
21. Yeah. You guys notice that there's a bunch of people that are just sort of running down the street and sort of gawking and looking, and it was around the place that you guys saw Madigan go into.
18.
18? You notice the yells and the screams coming from outside, and it's enough to give you pause.
Hey, there are yells and screams coming from outside. You want to go? You want to go outside and see what there is? I forgot.
Great.
She has a voice.
Sure.
Yeah, let's. I mean, unless you still wanted to look for stuff in the library.
I can't find anything
No.
here.
Okay.
You all, I would say that you two sort of catch up with each other as you sort of join the group of people that are gathered around this building. It's not hard to spot the large blue plume of smoke that's sort of coming out of this house, and as the door sort of opens up and Madigan sort of walks out, in a flash, everyone sort of takes a step backwards as more smoke starts pouring out of the room.
So
Yes.
Day's gonna circle around him, like where she's behind his back, and she's just gonna whisper in his ear, "Beast before beauty," and then start pushing him forward as they get closer.
Him or
Him,
Okay.
because we're in the street, and
Right.
she's probably back facing, so she's gonna circle around.
So you want to join up as a group, like sort of Beast before Beauty. I just
Yeah,
want
I'm
to be
like trying
behind
to
you.
push
Push me through
him
the
as
crowd.
as a shield, push him towards the crowd so I can hear what's going on.
Lovely. As you sort of push him forward and the crowd sort of gathers, the crowd to the left of everyone sort of parts, and you see this stunning woman sort of walk forward. She's wearing a suit of armor. She has a spade sort of on the armor itself. She's got long gray hair. And she has two men sort of flanking her. Her features are young and attractive, but she has long gray hair that sort of goes to about middle back. She's holding onto a broadsword at her side, and she walks forward towards you, Mandrake, and says, "What is the meaning of this?"
Oh, nothing. Just a little accident.
A little accident? It seems you've destroyed our apothecary.
No, everything inside is just fine. I mean, covered in a little blue smoke, but it's still usable.
Cedric, go inside. And one of the guards nods his head and sort of walks inside. And he goes inside for a couple of seconds, and there's still a little bit of smoke sort of in that room. And he starts coughing a bit, and he says, "I think I'm talking to my pants. My pants are talking." And she raises an eyebrow and looks at you. "It's all fine, then."
Yes. As soon as the smoke clears.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take a few steps back. And she starts ushering the crowd backward and sort of pushing them back a little bit.
Pulling him back by the shirt, like following the crowd.
As that happens, the apothecary comes toddling down the street and what happened? Who did this?
You should really tighten the tops on your containers. There was a small accident.
She looks at the apothecary and she goes, "Do you know this man?" And he looks up at you and says, "I've never met this man before in my entire life. I have no idea who he was. I was taking a small tea." And she looks over at you. "I would like you to come with me, please."
And we're all in the group? Like we're all like next to each other?
You're all in the crowd?
And I can hear what's going on?
Yes.
I don't feel that is actually necessary. Because we have that onyx stone that has the ace of spade on it, or the spade on it,
Mhm.
right? That was given to us by the guard.
Mm-hmm.
So can I present that to her? Like, I think this will speak loudly enough. I just like hold it out.
She reaches her hand forward and takes it and looks at the stone and cocks her head. She says, "How many of there are you?"
Well, we have this one,
This
and we
one.
have this very beautiful one here.
And you haven't been causing any trouble in the town, right?
As my comrade had said, it was an accident. So
A little boy sort of pipes up from the back and goes, "That's the man who offered to give me gold!"
it was in exchange for work.
He wanted to know what leather things were.
He had shown me what leather things were.
He asked me to show him my leather piece.
You asked the boy to show. Oh, I'm so
It's all
sorry.
a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding.
It's okay, dear. He's not from here.
If you wouldn't mind, please coming with me. You are not under arrest, but there are some questions that I would like to ask. Please.
Be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Right this way. And she sort of gestures this way. Who is going with? No?
I would imagine I'm probably going first.
Give me a stealth check as you start to at disadvantage as you start to back away into the crowd.
I got an 8.
She's looking. Everyone else is sort of crowded around, and she notices like a small man sort of duck his head uncomfortably and start to back up. She says, "You there?
Yeah.
Where are you from?"
Far away.
Yeah, okay, this way, please. This way.
Okay.
Anyone else joining them?
With my courtier background, I'm going. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you're going too.
I'm walking, but I'm like walking gracefully, like, yes, we belong here.
Zoe?
Did you go with me out of the library?
Yes.
I left the library with you, but she caught me because I'm
Not stealthy.
Okay. I'll follow.
So she leads you to a small sort of jail cell. In this jail cell, she opens the jail for all of you and sort of gestures inside, and then she sees the look of apprehension on particularly your face and maybe some of the others, and says, I will not lock it. We are sending for Enzo so that he can explain some of the reason you have his marker.
If you're not going to lock it, then what's the point of having us in the cell?
So that you're all together,
We can be all together in this room just fine.
Oh dear, are you saying you don't want to be locked in a room with me? I'm frankly a little hurt.
Is there anything in the room, or is it just like an open?
Give me a perception check.
10.
It's big enough that that's all you need. In the corner of the room is sort of bare bones. There's a lot of like hay and stuff like that on the ground. In the corner of the room, I can only describe it as like a large rock in the corner of the room, which it only sticks out of place because it's the only thing in the room itself, and it's in the back corner.
Okay.
You would be the only one who would know what this is. So give me a straight roll as you just give me a d20. You don't have to roll with a disadvantage.
7.
Yeah. It looks more like a shell to you. And she doesn't say anything, but she gestures to the cell. Please.
I go straight in.
Yeah, I'll walk in.
And these doors are going to remain open.
Yes, the doors will remain open as long as you are on your best behavior.
I'm not worried about my behavior.
He's talking about me.
I know
Kid's
he
got
is.
claws.
As I walk by Grim, I'm just gonna like open my jacket a little bit and flash him the thieves' tools.
Oh god.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to...
You walk past her, and as you walk past her, you hear this.
From her?
Yeah, as you walk past.
Mi gente.
So you are.
Just eye real fast. Okay. It would be weird to smell her, like trying to pick up a scent that she's. I don't know, like I feel like.
Questions I never thought any of you would ask me.
Yes, but.
Right, so I have a feeling that like my senses are pretty high. I mean, I should.
Okay. I don't know what a smell check would be. Give me maybe a nature check.
Alright. Make that.
Give me a nature or perception, and I'll let you know what you.
That's gonna be 7 for perception or 4.
She smells good.
Girl,
She smells good. She smells like outside and
fresh air,
and
fresh air,
country living.
water.
Yeah.
Nice, great.
Right. So you guys sort of move your way into the cell. As you do, she is true to her word. One of the other guards that you met earlier sort of comes forward with a little tray of things, and he sort of puts the tray on the ground, and he's obviously a little worried and sort of slides them towards all of you and then sort of backs out of the room. But on it is water and a few sandwiches and some bread and things of that sort.
Okay.
She's not too far away, sitting at what looks to be a desk, having a hushed conversation with 2 more guards that have sort of entered in, and she's sort of sending them out. She shows them the marker that you handed her and puts it on the desk in front of her.
At least we're not prisoners, so that's a good thing.
And there's food.
What on earth were you doing blowing up an apothecary?
I was trying to create some potions.
For what?
I mean, we could need healing potions.
It's understandable.
And how did potion making go?
Not well.
At all?
There were some results.
Some.
Some.
Okay.
We will all be taken care of.
Some time goes by. I imagine you all just sort of sit there. Does anyone do anything in the cell, or do you just wait and bide your time?
I want to go walk around the rock just because it's in there. It's something. Let me go talk to it. I don't care. Whatever. Hello, rock.
What do you do exactly?
So you said it's just like a boulder in there? It's just...
Yeah, the closer you get to it, the more you're seeing that the boulder's breathing a little bit, like it's sort of moving and...
So she is going to... Snorlax. She's probably... Nope, she's just gonna crouch down really low and close to it and just stare at it, and like, as it's breathing, she's gonna match its breathing.
That happens for a little bit, and then I think after a while, even it would pick up on the fact that something's beside it matching its breathing. That's super creepy. And you notice as a head sort of emerges from the top of the boulder and comes out, and it's this turtle head, and it sort of pokes out, and as it does, the arms sort of come out, and the legs sort of come out, and it looks over at you, and it's like, so.
Well, hello there. How long have you been here?
I mean, long enough.
Long enough for tea, a story.
Sure.
Oh, it's beautiful. Do you live here? Like, you know the cell's been unlocked, so.
What? Oh, sweet. And he gets up and starts moving towards the door, and there's a cough. Marquis, sit back down. Oh, all right. And Marquis sort of turns around and sort of plops back down on the ground and sort of looks at all of you.
Marquis?
Mm-hmm.
Marquis.
Marquis, tell me, what did you do to land yourself in here?
Oh man, I was really hungry, like super hungry, and I was like, I saw this food, and I was like, I'm gonna eat that food, and apparently it was like this lady's cat, and she like freaked out, and so
Tasty.
they got super pissed, and I was like, you gotta calm down, and they're like, put the cat down, and I was like, so they put me in here, man.
Was the cat good?
I mean, it was a little gamey, but like...
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Cats usually aren't very good.
Yeah, what about you guys? What are you in here for?
Well, to be quite frank, we were hanging in town and this one over here showed a mark, so...
Oh, cool.
Right now, I'm showing my marks in public.
Oh, bro.
Oh dear. You show them well enough in private. Why not public?
You can't do that, man.
You ate a cat.
Oh, that's true. That's on me.
Are you hungry? I'll offer him a sandwich off the tray.
I'm certain he wants cat.
No. The sandwich sounds good, bro. That's racist. And he reaches.
Every game.
No,
Going
he's
back
just
to
like,
fix.
I'm just messing with you, man. And then starts eating some of the sandwich and sort of sitting with you guys. And he obviously like opens up and it's making everyone uncomfortable outside of the cell that everyone is just sort of bonded inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we trust them?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not cool with me. But, like, we could probably trust him. She seems super nice.
Oh, no, not them.
What?
Not them.
Oh.
Them. And I point outside the cell.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're okay, I guess. I just gotta be careful about where I travel, you know? Not every place is like this. You know? The closer you get to the kingdom, the weirder things get.
And where exactly are you from?
I actually travel a lot, man. Like, I travel on the seas. Like, I've got a ship not too far off from the coast here. And, I was just taking a little bit of leave, and then we were gonna go hit up a trade route. But
So you fancy yourself a sea turtle?
yeah, because I could travel on the sea, bro.
So
It was kind of implied.
you've been around Wonder quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, traveled all around the place. Holy crap, man! Your hat. It's badass.
Thank you. Have you ever heard of anyone referred to as different or
Broham, I am a talking turtle, like hanging out. Like, I look different.
yeah.
I get it.
He's right, man.
Mr.
This
Markey,
dude gets it.
you said that you do a lot of trade. So you know jewelry, fine art, things like that? Have appraisals such as that?
Yeah, man. I saw like a picture of dogs. Oh, it's so funny.
So
It was like the best.
I think that's wonderful.
They were playing something.
With cards?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was cards.
I know someone else who has a similar painting, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
So if we happen to have something that we wanted to see if you knew anything about, such as a piece of jewelry, what do you think of the odds that you would know anything about it?
I agree, man. I mean, like, jewelry's never been my thing. I got fat fingers. And he holds up his like hands, and they're just like the turtle, like, you know, it's got the claws on it and stuff like that.
Right, of course, I understand.
I mean, the captain, he knows a bunch of stuff about jewelry.
Oh, the captain? You're not. I thought you were the captain. I do
Oh, that's too
apologize.
much pressure, man.
I understand.
Yeah.
If we were to get out of here and happen to bring you with us, would you mind taking us to your captain?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you guys want it. I mean, he'd probably charge you, but we could take you anywhere you wanted to go. We're the ship is over in Shorewith.
Sure.
Yeah, but the ship's docked there. It's pretty big, and everybody there is like super cool.
And they're not looking for you? They're not looking for you.
Oh no, man.
So they can't be that cool.
I mean, no, they kind of trust me. They kind of do my own thing. The ship doesn't leave for another like 2 weeks. You know,
Okay.
we hang out here for a little bit. We stock up on stuff, and then we go to the other coast, and we just kind of
Right.
repeat that over and over again.
And your captain's name, what's that?
Hmm?
Did you mention your captain's name and I missed it? I apologize.
Oh no! You're talking about Captain Robber.
Captain Robert.
Yeah.
So, Marky, you've been here for a few days, I'm assuming.
Yeah, man.
Great. About how many people have you seen coming and going in the cell guards, personnel that...
Hold up. I can do this.
outside this room.
Wait, can I guess? Is it
Yeah.
5?
No, man.
Oh.
Because I'm a person.
I just didn't know if you could see yourself. That's on me.
There's been a lot. I mean, especially after that big boom.
Is this like a place that's like pretty heavily fortified? Like as far as like it's a compound, or is it just more like just a run of the mill small
Think
town?
Old West like style
One
jail
cell,
Like
there's a desk.
there's two. You guys are in like the big one, and there's like a smaller one off to the side if you had to separate
Right.
two people. But yeah.
So pretty much it's like the lady at the desk that took us in, and then her 2 guards.
No, there's like you've seen at least 4 guards at this
Okay.
point. But yeah, man. There was a big commotion, and then like a day ago, and then everything kind of chilled out.
Gotcha.
Oh, can you tell me? I feel like we're going to be here a while. Can you tell me about that story?
Oh yeah. Oh well, I was traveling, and then all of a sudden, like there was this, like it was like nighttime, and then there was this, and then boom, and as he goes boom, the woman stands up and grabs her sword. And stops and sits back down, and she's like, "Marky, calm down, please." Sorry. There's this big like boom, and it hit the ground, and everything started shaking, and then these guys started yelling, and this dude came in, and he was like glowing, and not like, "Oh, you look nice, like you're glowing." Like no, he was glowing, like, and he apparently was talking about this big old thing. And it fell in the forest, and they went to look at it, and there was all sorts of craziness. Kept talking about like how it looked weird.
Did you hear what he said it looked like?
Yeah, he said it looked like an egg.
An egg. Just like a white egg.
Yeah, with like cracks in it and stuff.
Like a
What's correct?
chicken's egg.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah. He's apparently over, and they got like a house or something on the outskirts of town, and they're keeping him there.
What was his name?
I don't know, man. He was just screaming a lot. If I had to guess what his name is, it would be like, "Oh God, why God?" That's just a guess, man.
If we
That's
got
nice,
out
I
of here,
guess.
could you tell us where his house is?
Oh,
Show
yeah.
us.
Yeah, I could bring you there.
What are the walls? Is it just like stone walls, wood walls,
It's wood.
window?
Not in the jails.
Like not I mean like not even like little slats of little
These are the dumbest prisoners. No, not in the jail cell. The door is still open.
Right. Well, I guess there's only one way to get through this. And
Oh no.
there's more of us than there are what I appear to be them. What it seems to be them, so...
Yeah, man, but I'm pretty sure they can hear you. Like, she's looking right at you.
I'm sure there's more of us than there are them.
They're sitting right there.
I'm not really up for like fighting people that really don't deserve it.
Bro,
Thank
Then
you.
we'll send
Somebody
you,
who
we will send you
understands.
to. We will
pretty
send
sure
you
we're
both.
like twins, homie.
Yeah. Just like, but you're a turtle. But otherwise, yeah.
How about we send you both to go negotiate our leave?
On it, and he sort of gets up and takes a step towards the door. She's like, "Sit down." He's like, "Yep." And he goes to sit down. As soon as he does that, Enzo comes in and sort of comes in and walks in and looks at all of you and then sort of smiles. And then she pulls him to the side and she points at him and sort of does a big exaggerated thing. And then she points at him and you see her talking
Money and
leather.
special leather.
Says, "Well, apparently you have all made a bit of a name for yourself."
It was all in a misunderstanding at the very least. Like,
Yes.
I'm just in here by association.
No, that's you would be surprised how many people say that when in a jail cell. So what brings you here? Were you looking for me specifically, or?
we had noticed the insignia upon our lapel, and we wanted to say that we were in good company. We were of the same company,
Oh.
and not to try to say trouble because there
Do you,
was.
do you hear that? Good company.
I just thought it was the closest town. We came here for a reason.
In jail or in here to the town?
Town. Why would we come to a jail?
Well, he came in and said, "Why are you here?" and just giving him, explanation
Why would
to
we come to a jail?
We're short on cash. You said you had work.
I will say the woman behind him cocks her head, and you probably hear a guard in the back go, the people we arrested, are they asking us to give them a job? It's definitely a first. And Enzo says, yes, well, at the time, this was before you were thrown in a cell, but I understand this was probably a misunderstanding.
It was all voluntary. We walked in and the door is open, so
This is
there's
true.
no threat, no containment, if you will.
Yes. Yes. You need gold. I have a job for all of you.
We're listening.
Is this like a job for you, or does it come from like someone else?
No. This is a job for all of you. And he walks forward and sort of gathers you close and sort of gestures for all of you to sort of gather in front of him. And he goes, not too long ago there was a crash outside of the city. It was a large sort of falling sound. We had someone investigate it, and it was peculiar.
Would you say it sounded like a... And she's going to imitate the turtle exactly. Boom.
Give me a performance.
Oh God, where is it?
This is very important. It's good.
That's a 24.
Marky is like it's the most excited you've ever seen the turtle. Is like, that's how I did it. And he goes, Enzo goes, if you would not mind sort of exploring that particular area for me, and we've noticed some strange activity. It has scared a lot of the guards. You could even go and speak to the one that was there, but I warn you, he is... brace yourselves. But explore if it is something that we need to consult the king about. That is fine. But
The king. Which king? Is it the same king? King of Hearts or King...
there is only one, the Red King, in this particular area, but I do not think we need to bother him with any of this.
No, we don't need to bother him with any of this. We'll take care of it.
And about how
That's okay.
how much does this job pay? We all are in need.
Great question.
How much does this job pay?
Well, depending on, it is a little dangerous, and you are in a jail cell. I would say 50 gold each,
She's gonna
with
like...
100 gold bonus if you bring back proof.
That is a handsome sum. Quite
We could
a handsome
definitely work with that.
That works.
Marquis like, yeah man, that sounds like the
That sounds
sweetest
good.
deal. He's like, is he with you?
Of course.
Yes.
In the jail cell.
And Marquis like, he's now wrong. And says, alright, yes, of course. I think we can extend that to you as well. 50 gold with 100 gold bonus if you are to bring back proof of what you have found.
Each?
Oh, perfect.
Don't push it at her.
Fair.
I was expecting me to do that, but hey, I'm glad you
Well,
went there.
considering she's a little tight right now, I don't think it much matters to her.
Wonderful. Yes, of course. So please go and you have the day to explore and answer questions. You will head to the outskirts of the city. There's a wooden shack on the east side of the city where we have sort of quarantined a fallen soldier.
Before we leave, do I have time to go grab like those gloves that were made for me?
Do you say that out loud?
No, but I'm asking you as a DM.
Yeah, the day is yours again.
Awesome.
He sort of opens the cell and the woman sort of watches as he does so, and he he says, "All right, we will see you soon," and sort of lead you off on your merry way.
Before we leave, I'm gonna turn to Enzo and say, for preparation, might I use the apothecary again?
He just starts laughing. he starts laughing, and he goes, "The apothecary. You would like to use the apothecary again? Yes. Come here with me." And he brings you outside to the apothecary, and he sort of swivels you and turns you to look at it, and it is melted. Like it's like leaning to the side, but like half of the roof. It almost looks like. Do you know those papers that like look like a solid object, but you can take it and sort of unfold it and it falls like that? Half of it is like this on the ground, and the old man is just standing there like staring at it still. He's like, "You would like to use this building right here?"
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Yeah, the warden of the jail cell, can I walk up to her and get the stone back? So I want to growl the same like level of intensity that she growled at me with. Just
Okay.
so
Okay.
it's a growling check.
So you're not saying anything to her. You're just going up to her and growling.
I was just like, the stone, please. And I'll just do it like the nice guttural growl.
She reaches to the desk, takes it, doesn't touch your skin, but drops it from a height and makes eye contact with you.
Thanks.
Shifter.
Just walk out of the cell. Or walk out of the room.
Alright.
Day's gonna go over to Zoe. My dear, apparently we're going to the woods.
Yes, I don't want to go back to the jail. That was really creepy, and I don't want to go there again.
I know, dear. I'm so sorry about that, but we had to. I have a question for you.
Okay,
Can you do a favor for me?
depends on what it is.
I want you to find the coolest specimen you can find. And tell me whatever you want to.
I would do that anyway.
But I want to know about it. That's the favor. Share your knowledge.
We'll see what the specimen is.
Works for me.
Why do you want to know?
I'm interested in you.
So you want me to collect a specimen?
You don't have to
random
collect it.
Specimen, and then show it to you so that you can learn about me?
You don't have to collect it. But I think it would be a fun game. Something you'd enjoy. And I would learn about you.
Okay. Maybe.
That's fair.
Alright. So we have to go to the woods and find this guy in this shed. Alright. Are we going now? You're not gonna burn anything down now, are you?
No promises.
Please don't. I mean, I can mend stuff, but I can't mend that.
Well, he was paid handsomely for the time.
For the time, not for the building. We're gonna go
Details.
get 50 gold each and have to turn it over to that guy to fix his house.
That seems like an awful lot.
We'll be long gone before he comes to collect.
Well, that was rude.
Somebody's coming to collect, but I can't say it'll be long gone.
So where are we headed?
Let us
To the woods.
Marquis?
Into the woods.
Now it's time to go. Home before dark.
I can tell you I have to.
Marquis is just like he's standing there, and like you don't know how it happened, but like while you guys were all sort of talking and stuff like that, like he's holding a cat in his hand, just sort of like nodding, and it's like, "Oh man," and puts it down, and then goes, "Yeah, come this way, guys," and he sort of like moves forward, and he's sort of walking. You'll notice that now that he's out of the cell and the sort of like the sun is shining, he's got this moss sort of growing on his shell at different spots. It's like a brown shell with these green little patches of moss. His hands are sort of wrapped up in sort of like a white material on the left hand. On the right hand, it's a bit of rope, like frayed rope and stuff like that. So. But he sort of travels with you guys and leads you to the outskirts of the city east. You notice that people are giving you a wider berth than before.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Like a little kid comes out of the house and sort of like looks over at you and is sort of like following all of you, and the mother calls them inside, and he just shakes his head and just sort of like waves at all of you. And
You just gave us a bad reputation.
Or a good one.
Pretty soon you're at this little shack in the woods. It takes you about a 10 to 15 minute walk. There is a guard posted outside, and
Okay, she's in the back.
yeah.
And so she can hear or see.
Holt, what's the business?
Enzo sent us.
Oh,
Yes.
you want to talk to?
Well, anyone who might be holding information worthwhile about this.
Did you eat
crash.
today?
Eat. Nibbles
Sandwiches?
Sandwiches and some to drink, but
Okay. And he goes over to the front door and opens the front door.
Before we go in, his name?
It's me.
Smith.
Okay. I would like to, before we go in, because the shack is no more than like 30 feet wide or anything, is it?
No,
Like,
it's
okay.
yeah.
Small.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Detect Poison and Disease. I can sense the presence and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet of me. Identify the kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease in each case.
Okay. So I'm going to respect the spell and say that there is a disease inside this shack. Okay.
Okay.
When you go to when the spell takes hold, how Thoe sees the world, and she sees like numbers and sort of analytics and things like that. I will say that it comes up as a disease, and when you go to do the analytics, the numbers keep repeating. It's almost like the pi integer, where it just kind of keeps going, and it can't quite nail down what it is. But there is a disease of some sort, but it's not anything Thoe has ever encountered before. And I'll even grant you that it's not contagious.
Okay. I relay this information to everyone.
Okay.
so be a little bit more wary walking in. Got it.
Okay.
I'll start scouting around the perimeter,
Yeah.
seeing what I can pick up, sense.
You walk around behind. Give me an investigation check.
I am rolling. Shit. Okay, investigation. That's gonna be 6, my friends. 6.
Yeah.
This is a long house. This house has grass attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know. You notice that the ground's a little wet. That's the only thing. It's a little muddy, just circling the house, and it's not rained or anything. It's not like the rest of the ground is wet, but conspicuously the ground around the hut itself is wet.
Can I start walking out to where there's like dry, wet, where that meets that pier? That
Sure.
Can I see how far?
Sure. You walk pretty far, and I would say about 20 feet back from the hut, the ground stops being wet, and then you notice something odd is that there is it's almost a circle. You start walking around the edge of it, and you start walking around, and there's a circle around the hut, almost a perfect circle of wet ground originating from the center of the hut.
Okay.
I'm gonna start relaying all this as I'm walking around, just thoughts and
So
such.
that's like a spell. That's like some sort of a spell originating from inside. I don't know what kind of spell, but this is really weird.
So if he's relaying all this, can I do like a nature or something for that?
Sure. What is it you're trying to discern here?
I'm trying to think of if there's like certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Certain maybe rain clouds or something that only pour in like one circle. I don't really know, but the fact that part of the grass is wet and the other part's not, is it like?
I would say
more-
it would have to be a pretty damn big coincidence. You wouldn't even have to roll for a rain cloud to appear, do a perfect concentric circle of water. You're leaning more towards this had to be a magical
Yeah.
means to this.
So with like, it's like there's things growing on the dry side and like everything on the wet side's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean it's normal vegetation, normal
Okay.
grass and stuff like that.
It's just wet.
So, and it looks like it's like, because you know how grass is different when it's been wet for a long time versus when it's been wet for a short time.
Mhm.
Can I discern that?
You can certainly try. I'm gonna argue that this is not Day's specialty, and she has not spent a ton of time outside. But if you want to make a nature check for me, I'm totally down with it.
Or she could convey that to somebody who would have
She
spent
could also
a lot of
convey-
time outside.
Yeah.
She has been on the run for a really long time.
That's true.
And
but
she-
based on your background, I'm not
True,
going to
okay.
give you
No,
I'm
no,
good
you're
outdoors
okay.
and indoors. Like,
Nope. 5.
So you don't know why. Day gets really close to the ground and she's
Yeah.
like, grass.
It's true.
I'm gonna turn to Marquis and say, do you know anything about what's going on here? As far as what's affecting this man?
Yeah, man. Like, he walked that way, and then he walked all the way
No,
around.
the man inside.
Oh, yeah, man. He's, like, sick or something. Because she did the thing, and it's like a disease.
I mean, it's not contagious. Should we just go in and see what's going on inside?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, because maybe we can talk to him and maybe he can answer our questions for us.
Of course, dear.
It's a smaller thing, so I could say that, like, 2 of you could probably fit, because nobody here is, like, of a small sort of race. And Thoe walks in first.
Yeah, well, because I've got, like, if nothing else, I've got ways to cure people, and it might help.
Fair.
Thoe, you walk inside and there is a man who's sort of reading a book. He's got plain brown hair, normal looking skin. He's 30s, you know, looks rather plain and ordinary, and he's wearing a sort of like a white tunic. You know, and as you come into the room, he smiles broadly at you and says, "Hello,
Oh, hello.
hi."
Hi. We were sent here.
Oh,
We wanted to see how we could help.
no, I bet.
What's going on?
Well, he closes the book and sets the book down, and he goes, well, I don't know. I was sent to explore something that sort of fell in the forest, and I came back a little different.
Different how?
Huh. Here, what is your name?
My name's Thoe. What's yours?
Smith.
Smith.
Smith, can I have your hand, Thoe?
Okay.
And he holds out his hand to you, and as you place your hand on top of his, it goes straight through it.
Wow. And it didn't do that before, huh?
No.
Wait a minute. You were holding a book.
Yeah.
How were you holding a book?
Well, everything that was on my person at the time seems to have been unaffected.
Can I try holding the book?
Sure. And he reaches over and grabs the book and sort of hands it to you.
What happens?
The book
Goes
falls.
right
Yeah, straight through. And he actually bends down to try to catch it before it falls.
Can I see
through
what the book is
floor.
called?
Sure. Yeah.
Funny you should say
Question,
that.
questions I never thought you'd ask. The book is The Tale of My Heart. The tale is not spelled like T-A-L-E, it's T-A-I-L.
Nice.
So, so this happened. Why is it all wet outside? Do you know that? There's a circle. It's wet.
Yeah, that's another sort of facet of it. Apparently, I have to stay pretty calm.
And if you don't stay calm,
Things happen.
like,
I started crying a few days ago when I realized I couldn't hold my wife or children ever again, and it started raining.
whoa. Anything else?
Yes, I hurt people by accident.
Like how?
I got very angry after that.
And people were here?
Yes. They managed to get out of the house in time, but the surrounding area caught on fire.
Whoa. Is there anything we can do to help?
I mean, are you magic users? Can you cure me? Can you?
Well,
Can you
I
help
can
me?
try. I am, and I can cure people, but I've never cured anything like this. I mean, I can try, but and I reach over and I don't have anything right now, and I try, even though I know it's not going to work. I try casting Cure Wounds on him at level 1.
Who's outside the hut? Okay. The sun gets real bright, real pleasant breeze sort of like flows in from out of nowhere, and for a split second, like birds are singing, like in your small like patch of the world, like it's just everything is right with the world. And as Thoe sort of reaches out and casts Cure Wounds,
Yes.
roll for.
Do you want the 1d8 plus 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
It's a 6 plus 3, 9.
Okay, yeah, it's actually so you sort of place your hand, but you place it inside of his, and as you do, you see the magic sort of flow up his arm a little bit. And as you guys are outside and sort of noticing all this happening, you see flowers start blooming around the house and things of that sort, and the ground and the weather sort of reacting very visibly, and you know you feel it. You feel this good energy. Your hand is pushed back a bit.
Oh, so it's a little more solid.
Yeah, it becomes a little more solid. And then there's a breath. There's a 1,000, 2,000, and then it
Back
like
to normal, okay.
go back to normal again.
And do things outside like return to normalcy the more we saw?
It doesn't until he sort of looks down and he, oh, thank you for trying. I appreciate that. Sky gets a little darker. Some of the flowers start wilting.
And, this is something that we see. So
Yeah.
So you cast some sort of magic on him, and something is affected outside.
What were you sent to explore?
There was a loud crash that sort of echoed throughout the entire sort of town, and I went to explore it. It was deep into the woods. I noticed a sort of path that was cut through, and this is going to sound extremely odd. As it was there, it was very large. It was like a giant egg had fallen from the sky and landed and hit the ground, and there were all these sort of cracks on the surface of it, and I could have sworn that. No, never mind.
No, say it.
Well, I thought it was the moon.
You thought the egg was the moon?
Yes.
So this thing must have been decently large.
Oh, yes. Very, very much so.
Would you say is he a pretty tall guy himself, or?
Yeah, he's about average height, 5'10", 5'11".
So would you say it's taller than you?
Oh God, yes, taller than all of us put together. It was the size of about a wagon, a house.
Okay.
Yeah, large wagon, house.
Can you take us to it?
I'm afraid I can't. It takes so much concentration to be able to not float past the bed and just keep going.
So you can't leave this space?
No, but I can point you in the right direction. And he sort of gets up, he takes a deep sort of staggered breath and comes out to the house. And as he does, the guard that was there sort of backs up to keep sort of a wide berth, and he points past you all and off into the forest. Give me a perception check as he sort of points.
12.
12?
Nice.
3.
17.
17.
Sorry. I'm
No, it's okay.
18.
18. So the two of you notice that as he sort of points off in the distance, it looks fine where he's pointing, and then all of a sudden you notice that you both sort of look up almost at the same time, and the trees have all there's trees missing from a certain point. Like you don't see the tops of trees. You realize this thing must have come down from a height, knocked down the trees, but you almost see the spot in the forest where this happened.
Okay.
And he sort of points and he goes, it's not far from here, about half a day's hike.
What time of day is it right now?
I would say it's about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And you said you have a wife and child.
Yes.
Now are they in town?
Yes.
And the names.
My wife and children. Why do you need to
Can
know
we
that?
Can we bring a message to them? Do they know about this? Do they know about you?
No. I've asked not to inform them as of yet. I've asked that they be told that I had to take a quest for the king. I would rather my son or my wife not see me like this.
But would they at least want to know that you're well, or as well as you can be?
That is my business and not yours.
And what if you never come back?
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Damn.
Oh no. 10.
As you say, what if you never come back? He sort of cocks his head at you, and as he does, his eyes go black, and a bolt of fire sort of lashes out from those eyes towards you and sort of singes you, taking... Hey, I need some dice.
Yeah, 2 seconds now.
So you take about like 7 points as this lash of fire sort of wraps around, but as he covers his eyes, it sort of stops, and he apologizes profusely, and he says, I'm sorry, please leave. I'm so sorry.
Before we do, when did the change occur?
When I touched it.
Touched what?
The egg, when I touched the egg.
And it seems that these abilities that you've gained are all sporadic, attached to emotions.
Yes.
So it seems.
Yes, please leave.
I'm
I'm gone.
Hey. And I cast as many as I can get away with druidcraft, little flowers all around his little hut thing.
He stops and looks at them and says, he opens his eyes and you see that they're still black, but they're starting to, as they look to the flowers and sort of respond, he blinks a few times and then they return to their sort of naturally brown color, and he goes to the bed, lies down, and as he lies in the bed, he sinks through it.
We're gonna help as much as we can, okay? Just hang tight.
It starts raining outside.
I would like to cast Calm Emotions.
Okay. He, as you cast Calm Emotions, I think he can purposely choose to
Yeah, he can.
to do that, and as that feeling of sort of overtakes him, he crawls out from underneath the bed, lays in the bed, and opens the book and just starts looking at it, and he looks over at you and apologizes again. So sorry.
No need to
I've
apologize.
I've had the thought, and I will cross that bridge when I come to it.
Are you sure there's nothing we can take with us for them?
No.
She'll just nod and step back.
As you leave, he says, "You couldn't hold it if I tried."
Let's go. We'll come back. So when we get outside and out of range and walking towards the egg, I'm gonna say, I think I can help him, but I have things I have to prepare and I couldn't do it till tomorrow. So for now, why don't we head towards this egg thing and see what it is, and we know it's gonna take a little while to get there, and then tomorrow let's come back, cause I might be able to help.
I'm with you, my dear.
Cool.
Let's go.
She'll just kind of like wipe her eye as if like removing makeup.
I imagine your turtle friend comes over and he's like, Marquis, like, hey man, it's okay. Like, we'll find more grass.
Thank you, Marquis. You know just how to make me happy.
So
And we're going back.
Oh, Marky's like, oh, we're going where that dude said.
Yes, my
Yeah.
Are we sure about that? We want to go.
Well, I mean, I don't think we should touch it or anything, but maybe we can at least look at it and see what it does.
Oh, cool. And then he just sort of like lets you guys lead the way and sort of goes off.
You seem to know the way, so
I'll go first.
Onward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys start making your way. It's a really easy sort of path into the woods. You're making your way through the woods, and you're noticing, you're sort of looking up occasionally and seeing the sort of break. And it does take a few hours, but by nightfall, you have made your way to this sort of crater, and sure enough, it looks like if it was late at night, which it is for some of you, but some of you have a dark vision and stuff like that. If you were a human and you felt this crash and you sort of looked, you would swear that this looked like the moon, that it's just sort of landed in front of you, based on perspective and things of that sort. But it's in this large sort of crater in front of you. There are some fractures that are sort of running up it.
Is it emitting any light?
Yes. I will say at nighttime you wouldn't even need to make a check for this. At night it is emitting some light through the cracks.
I cast detect magic. It should be able to tell me like the school of magic, like kind of visible creature or object that bears magic you learn at school of magic, if any.
Is this it's not a touch spell.
It is, let me see, because this is my verbal magic.
It's not identify or anything like that.
It's one action,
Sense
range
the
of
presence
self,
of
verbal and
magic.
somatic components. And
You,
then within 30 feet.
okay. I will say that you are detecting magic from this thing. The type of magic that you're sensing is illusion magic.
Anything else other than illusion?
No.
Okay.
I want to cast Mage Hand and push it against the shell because I'm not physically touching it.
You cast Mage Hand, and as you take the Mage Hand up and sort of send it outward, the hand disappears.
Okay.
And then you pull it back, and
Mhm.
it comes through. And you push it back again, and it goes through.
It disappears into the.
Into it. Okay.
We've tried something non-corporeal. How about something corporeal? I'll just grab a rock and I'll just like hurl it towards.
Through it.
Well, now
Bless you.
Bless you.
now we know it's something.
3.
Bless you.
Sorry.
I
Always comes in threes.
Now we know that some things that are physical are going through as well, so that gives us some information.
Right. I want to check around the area, like right around it, to see if there's anything weird about the ground around it.
Give me an investigation check.
That's actually.
13.
So you guys watch as Mandrake does something that he does quite often, is he looks at things from a new perspective and sort of gets down on the ground and sort of looks. You're looking and you're seeing the edges of this thing, and as you trace around the edges, you don't notice anything, until you almost cycle around the back, and you notice if this is the egg, there's a flower that seems like it's growing through the egg.
Okay.
Almost like you can't see the bottom of the flower, but you can see the top part of it, and it's growing through the shell. But it doesn't look like it's poking through anything. It just looks like it's growing through it.
So I'm going to reach down and pick the flower.
Okay.
Is there anything weird about the flower?
Y'all gonna hate me? She's gonna touch it.
Yeah.
She's like trying to go towards the crack and like probably try to crack it open a little bit.
You go to reach for it, and your hand goes right through it.
Like the same way her hand went through.
Him.
Yes.
Walk into it.
So I'm gonna grab her arm and pull her back.
Okay.
Was I able to grab
Do you
her?
let him?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm pushing through. I want to see if I
But
can
did I
walk
make
into
contact
the-
with her?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still tangible.
Day's like, huh. And she just sort of like walks
Sticks-
forward.
She's like, head in, like, let's go. Hello.
As you stick your head in, the egg is gone. The illusion is gone.
For me, but
For them, you all see it. You just see a day sort of disappear into it. You see a hole in the ground. This one looks like a definite, like something broke. But the shell isn't there. You just see all of your friends outside sort of like looking around, super confused about what's happening. And that you see this sort of hole in the ground that almost looks like a tunnel that's like leading down.
okay. She'll pop her head back out. Darling, it's very rare that I ask a man to let go of me, but please do so.
I let go. Just making sure I still could.
Now, if you care to follow, I do believe I found a nice tunnel, somewhat dark and quiet, if you care. But I'm going.
Too many jokes.
Oh, there's supposed to be.
N-U-N-D.
I'll follow her.
Okay.
Follow.
You hear Marquis be like, "Bring me back something neat." And he's like, "I'm just kidding," and then he like comes with.
You're not gonna.
No,
Marquis.
he comes with, but he's sort of bringing up the rear. There is a large circular tunnel in front of all of you. I'm imagining that Day is taking the lead on this one, and that everyone has a sort of marching order behind her. Day, the tunnel is not large enough for you to walk in. You could crawl.
Oh no.
Are you telling the bard who's used to being on her knees that she needs to get back on her knees?
I am definitely telling her. Hit those
Done.
knees, girl.
Down.
Day sort of crawls down into this tunnel, and you sort of crawl along after a little bit. Half elves, you have dark vision?
Yeah.
Yes. So you're seeing fine. It is getting late in the evening, but you are managed to crawl and crawl until you get to what looks to be a stone floor past all of this dirt that seems to have been like opened. There's a hole in the stone floor in front of you, and inside is a large circular chamber with steps leading downward.
We're already come this far. I'm walking down the steps.
Okay. You hear
Does it sound like an animal?
give me a nature check. If somebody has
That one.
if somebody has nature proficiency and wants to lend that to her,
Take
No.
my proficiency.
or roll again.
Nat 20.
I love you, dear.
That's not an animal. That's an insect sound.
Okay, well, I can talk to little things. I don't
Talk to
remember
the
how I do
bugs.
this. Okay, speech of beasts and leaves. You can communicate with, though not understand, beasts and plants, and have advantage on charisma checks to influence them. So I say, hey, little guys, we're friendly.
Neat.
I hope that's not us you're talking about.
Are they speaking in common? Is it language?
You're hearing.
Oh, I can't understand them.
Can't understand it.
But they're talking in a way I can understand? Okay. Do you guys have any
Worship.
meat that you might be willing to feed these little insect guys? Other than us?
Oh, you put the cat down.
I really want. It would not be prudent for him to be like, I brought another one. No.
Oh, the cats.
No one really? Okay.
I'm looking.
So do we have any rations?
I mean, I'm
in our
sure
pack?
we
Yeah, I
have
have
rations.
rations.
Everyone
Yeah.
has rations.
So
Yeah.
who's taking a thing of rations and throwing it? So you guys watch as Grim just sort of and takes the rations out of his pack and sort of throws them. As he does, the black sort of circular walls that you're on all start moving downward into this pit past where the stairs sort of lead. But the walls come to life as these bugs, which are larger than your average sized bugs, start crawling alongside the walls and going down deep into the circular pit. There are stairs leading to a certain landing, but they go all past that, and just sort of chase after these rations.
Well, you can take the lead on this one if you like to, dear.
Well, I guess there's less bugs, so that's good. I mean, I think they were insects, not bugs.
Well, either way, your specialty, not mine.
All right. I mean, I could be wrong. It was a little dark.
Breaking apart some of the rations.
They
if I need to
definitely
just
look like bugs.
Hansel and Gretel stuff. Then
Sure. You head down the steps.
There's nothing else really of note up here that we can see.
if it's
Circular.
walls,
You see a circular. It's almost like a storage, like a circular basin. As you look up towards the ceiling, you do see wood, like wood planks that are up there, and it almost looks like whatever tunneled in at an angle, came out through the wall, but didn't come in through where the wood was. Almost like one of those like corn storage things. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Almost like a water tank.
Almost like a deep
Silo?
well
Deep well.
Deep well.
Super deep well.
with stairs at the bottom of it, but there's no water in it right now.
Right, and there's a landing. There's a landing in front of you all.
Hey, let's go down some steps.
having dark vision, does it lend me any other does it tell me anything else that's in the room, like other passes, like where the wall might be, aside from just
Yeah, you know what? Give me an investigation check.
Do you have dark vision? You have dark vision.
I
It's
do
gonna be
I
a
don't
19.
But I'm gonna. If it gets darker, I'm gonna change to something that
down
does.
the
Well, I was gonna
steps.
say-
What languages do you speak?
I speak Common and Infernal.
You spot some script, sort of carved into the wall. It's real littles, but you sort of spot it alongside the wall, but it's not in a language that you speak.
There's something written here.
What languages?
Don't quite make it out.
I've got a lot.
I
Druidic, Elvish, Giant, Primordial, Sylvan.
It's in primordial.
okay.
Oh, okay. What does it say?
Theory.
Yes.
I'm assuming you might be able to read this, be more learned.
Oh, I know a lot of languages, and yes, that is clearly primordial.
Can you decipher it?
Yes, because I can speak primordial.
Then decipher it.
The daughter.
It says the daughter. Do I see any other writing anywhere around?
My dear, I don't know if this helps you. I see that you're having a little issue seeing around. If you need me to look anywhere for you, please don't hesitate to ask. I do have dark vision for you.
Oh, thank you very much. I was actually I had that taken care of. I was just making some decisions about what
of course.
in
Do you?
particular I wanted to do to accommodate my vision.
Of course, dear.
Does the daughter ring a bell to anybody?
No.
I don't know. Do you have a daughter and does she ring a bell? Jeez, come on.
Marky. Is this
I know, man. I don't have a daughter, and she probably wouldn't ring bells.
thank the gods?
Yeah, man. What?
Anyway, the script, it says the daughter. Does
Cool.
I mean, having traveled, being a turtle of travel, does this mean anything to you at all? Or coming across your travel?
Oh yeah, man. Usually, when two people love each other very
I'm gonna
much.
stop you right there.
They decide to get married and then they do the thing where they do the thing and you're uncomfortable. I'm so sorry.
Is there enough light coming off of the shell in this cave for me to see?
This little sign,
pick that up
this
for you.
little no,
No.
it's dark.
Okay. So I'm blind right now, effectively.
Wait. Wait a minute. I have a torch. Can I light the torch?
Absolutely.
Holla back, y'all.
So Grim goes, guys, I got this, and he lights the torch. And as he lights the torch, you sort of all look down instinctively, and it's a pretty big drop, like past these stairs, past down, and you do see this sort of movement, nebulous movement at the bottom, as all of these little shapes and stuff are sort of moving. The stairs lead down, like I said, to a little landing.
I am changing into a wolf spider, which is a medium-sized creature, so it's approximately my size, and it gives me dark vision, and I can climb on walls and ceilings and all sorts of things.
Cool. Do you let them know before you change into
Yeah.
the wolf spider? Okay, cool.
Thank you.
That
would be great.
You guys all look, and Thoe is dead, replacing her as a giant spider.
I don't like spiders.
Meanwhile, we'll fight.
Thoe announces and sort of changes into this sort of medium.
I'm gonna be a spider now. I'll be able to see better.
You couldn't be a cat.
I like spiders.
I don't.
And they can climb on walls and ceilings. Here.
Marquis sees Thoe say, I'm going to be a spider now, and just sort of changes into a spider, and Marquis is like, I'm going to be a spider too. Oh, damn, that would have been awesome, guys.
If you're a decently large spider, because you said it's about
Medium size. I could have turned into a giant spider, but I was worried I wasn't going to fit in this place.
Gotcha. Okay.
So plus I can poison people now.
Well, how's your?
She can't say any of this, by the way.
No, I can't.
How's?
You're like, Thoe, are you okay?
I would imagine that your webbing ability.
The thing is,
That's rude, bro.
I'm a web walker and I have web sense, but it doesn't tell
But
me
could you
that I can
create a
actually
web?
make webs.
Then you cannot, because that is a specific ability
Yes, and
spell.
I don't think wolf spiders. This is a wolf spider, and I don't think wolf spiders make webs anyway. So
Alright.
I tried.
Does anyone head down the...
I'll head down the.
I'm heading down the stairs. Except I'm not going down the stairs. I'm going down the side of the wall.
Love it. I will say you get there first, and the door that was there has been shattered. Like, there ain't no locking or unlocking or anything like that. This door has been ripped off of its hinges, broken down.
Well, that doesn't bode well.
Is there any impact? There's something that broke it in. Pieces are going down the hallways, are going from this side and being shot out towards
You can look past it, especially thanks to the torch that you're sort of using out, and it's sort of dim. It's harder to see, but you see that it empties into a small sitting room. There's a fireplace in this room. There is an open passageway with a big puddle of goo on the ground. It's like a greenish goo that's sort of all over the ground in the carpeting area.
I'm gonna walk in, but just kind of like keeping myself away from the goo. I don't want to touch it.
There's a passageway past that, right in front of where the goo is. Like, there's a little like open passageway past that.
Okay.
Going?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I was trying to see if I had anything that I could scrape up some of that goo with.
Cool. You walk past. I would imagine you have a
Yeah.
scoop up some of this goo. You come into a room with a stone table surrounded by chairs, and on it is a tray of food with a small white placard that says,
Oh, crap.
"Eat me."
Why does this already seem like an awful idea?
It does.
Well, every idea seems like an awful idea if you don't have an open mind about it.
There is a pile of goo upon the floor. We know this. We came through a well full of spiders and creepy things, and there's a sign that says "Eat me." What part of this does not say "bad idea"?
First of all, did you just call our precious little Thoe a creepy thing? Were you insinuating that spiders were a creepy thing?
If
That's the
this
first
does not
question
make
here.
you racist.
No, this is what you're saying. What I am saying is a clarification as to what you are saying.
Marquis is like standing there and like eating. So like, were we not supposed to?
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
As you cast Detect Magic, Marquis shrinks down. Woo! With a little, with a little baby turtle. And he's like standing there. He's like, uh-oh.
I would like to lean down and like pick him up on my hand if you will allow it.
Yeah, he like gets up and like he gets on your hand and he stops and he kind of like he like picks up some of the food.
And she's setting him back down on the table
No,
in
I
a
think
sitting
I'm
way.
One and done.
How many of those did you
Yes,
eat?
those are
Mommy?
very magic.
Yeah.
Okay. And I probably don't have to tell you what sort of thing that they do now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look around the room first, kind of see what else is in the room other than this tray.
Yeah. Perception check.
17
Any shiny things? Gold things, jewel
plus
things?
19.
You see a small hole in the floor, almost like a mouse hole alongside the
Mhm.
wall.
Okay. I want to. How many of these things are on the tray?
How many what's around?
The little eat me things.
There's like 15, 16.
Like 15. Okay. So.
Are they all varying color, shape? Like,
Looks like petite fours.
Okay.
Pristine condition for the way that this
Mhm.
room looks.
So whatever we don't eat, I'm taking with me.
fair enough. Do you
So-
think this was laid out for us? Or laid out for someone to find?
Is it
We don't.
just cookies or just the cookies there that are like the eat me cookies?
Mm-hmm.
That's it on this table.
That's it.
And you said there was a mouse door?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm gonna point out the door so they all know that it's there.
She's gonna go over to the mouse door and like look at it and like try to see if she can see through it.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try sticking one of my little spider legs through it.
And
Are you gonna let her do that?
I'm gonna look first
I've
and
got
then
7 more. if
and
I'm
then
using
as
it.
I see her like coming through, I have to play to the character. I'd back up a bit, like
Okay. But when you look through, you see sort of kind of a long hallway, but its shapes are a little weird. Like, you do sense movement, but they're so small at that point, like you're having trouble discerning what it actually is. And as you're like, guys, I think I see a spider. The spider sort of comes up and okay.
Chloe, you scared me.
Is this the room?
Very
Ooh.
brave.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. I don't like that. Ooh.
No.
Ooh, ooh,
Mm-mm.
okay.
Roll for initiative.
Okay. Thoe, you take your spider leg and stick it through the hole. I imagine. Shut up. That's kind of funny. Marquis like nice. And stick your leg through there, and as you do, there's nothing there for a second, and then there is a feeling like it's something grabs the leg, like grabs it hard.
Okay. And
You
I
follow up.
pull it back. Can I see?
You pull it back, and there are 4 skeletons, very littles, attached to the leg, sort of stabbing at it with these small blades that are doing literally nothing because they are so little.
Would like to just start flicking the skeletons off.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. You go. Pew, 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 pew.
So I'm gonna
Do
reach in there and
not
kind of
touch
just reach
that.
the hallway with my spider leg. You're welcome.
How is your poison?
And as she's pulling them out, I am throwing them and kicking them
There's
and
a-
kicking them.
There's a small whistle on the wind, as if to say, "Fuck you." And you don't know where it came from. And
I
it's-
thank you.
All clear then?
Good job.
Yes. There is a pause as she just sort of sticks her leg through and starts moving it around. There is a pause, and then you hear. You probably wouldn't hear anything at this point. No, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
I don't learn anything about the goo with detect magic, right?
Not with detect magic. Identify might,
Yeah.
but not with detect. You're not. detecting any sort of magical energy from it.
Is
Yeah,
it-
I
If you
know.
want to look at it, and
Yeah,
you
I'll take a good look at it.
Give me an investigation check. Roll high, bro.
16 plus 5, 21.
Yeah, you know what? When you were living with your peoples,
Mhm.
for a little bit,
Yeah.
you were doing sort of investigations, and there was one particular one that was big into monster hunting,
Okay.
and had a sample of this, and it looks vaguely familiar to mimic blood,
Mimic blood.
Cute.
like the sort of the original state of where a mimic is before they start shifting to different things.
Okay, I'd like to look around the room again.
Sure. Sure. You see, like I said, a tray of food. You
Yeah.
see the stone table and
Mhm.
the chairs and stuff like that, but you don't see
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where you start stabbing everything in the room. You
Yes.
sufficiently. You throw the hat at everything, and the hat just sort of like bounces off.
Okay.
They're all sort of mundane items.
Okay. Is this the room with the fireplace? Yeah, right?
No, that was
No.
the first room that had
First
the
room?
mimic blood.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I can't see if I go into this room.
All I can see.
Okay.
Why
So
did I just feel like I volunteered myself?
I give him one of the cakes.
Remember me for how I used to.
You'll always be a big man to me.
So I'm just gonna start going through the door.
Marky walks over and like gives you a hug. Oh, what's up, man? Perspective, right?
Wonderful idea to be here with wonderful people.
You, Marquis sort of goes with you, and as you go through this whole, you go to this hallway that is littered with skeletons, which would have been super cool to fight. And a part of me was like, damn it, this would
I
have
could have
been
went like this
super great to fight these things. It probably would have been epic and built character tension.
and now are they human? Are they monster?
They look humanoid. As you go past this hallway, there is a sort of amphitheater with
Yeah.
stone benches leading towards a giant pit. There is a being standing outside of the pit, pulling a chain like this, and it stops and it looks over at you, and another head sort of comes out to the side. And it's this sort of green being with like two heads, and it takes a step back.
What? And what are you doing here? So with a chain in your hand.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Shit, who the heck? 9.
You feel this thing sort of like, it's hard, your vision goes blank as you start having these random images sort of float past your head. It's almost like when you daydream and there's like little images, but they're going too fast for you to function, and you sort of grab your head, and Marquis sort of like instinctively like picks you up a little bit, and the being stops doing anything, and it takes a breath, and it looks over at you again, and this time it's a picture of a mother holding a baby. It's just an image floating in your brain of a mother holding a baby.
How long has it been?
I'd say it's only been about like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
And is this something you see too, Marky? This woman, this child.
Oh man, no, I just see like the two-headed thing. Wait, are you a woman? That's cool. I mean, live your truth, bro.
But so you don't see the visage of a woman and a child in front of you. It's if you can see it, then I'm not going crazy.
This thing takes a step towards you at this point because you don't have any sort of, like, you haven't made a move against it. It takes a step towards you, and then it shows you a couple of images, but it's starting to slow down. It's a little bit. It's a mother holding a baby, and it's a figure reaching forward, grabbing the baby, and the mother just sobbing. just sobbing, like anything, like holding on for dear life. Give me the baby, and the figure just taking the mother and pushing her to the side and taking the baby, and the mother just standing there weeping, and as you look up, you see that the creature in front of you with the two heads is on the ground, and it's almost mirroring the pose, and it looks over at this chain that's dangling from the ceiling into this sort of circular pit.
So I'll start walking over to the chain.
Okay.
And she goes straight down, like
straight down.
And is there anything I can see like down the pit? So it's
you got dark vision?
Yeah, 60 feet.
You see rushing water. You see like water at the bottom of this pit.
So I'm gonna start pulling the chain.
You start pulling the chain up, and she comes over to you. This sort of creature with it green. It's got fur and feathers and on places, and it's got these two heads, and it comes over and it starts trying to help you, but it's so weakened at this point. That's when you notice the slashes up and down the arms and things of that sort, and realize that this thing must have been fighting its way through the hallway until...
I'm going to drop my wild shape.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
On creature.
You are not in that... Are you?
Oh, I thought I joined everybody. Never mind.
He's the only one in there right now.
Okay, I thought we all... Never mind.
But I think it's been long enough now that I'm probably wondering what's going on.
You're joining.
Yeah, I'll take a bite and join.
You guys come in, and I will say you will drop wild shape.
Yeah.
And as you come in, this thing sort of backs up a little bit, and
he's fine. He appears to be a bit wounded, but
I can help.
He's fine.
I can help.
Go slowly.
Thoe, give me an animal handling.
Oh, okay. There we go. 13.
It's enough where this thing sort of recoils back the roll, and you've never seen anything like this. You might have in your studies. Austin, you can give me a history check, but you.
17.
You come forward and sort of place your hand on it, and as you place your hand on it, there's feeling as the healing energy sort of comes up and it starts closing the wounds and stuff like that. You see people grabbing hands. You see images of the sun shining. You see images of flowers growing.
Oh, this is kind of like what happened with the guy. Now I can make physical contact with this creature, right?
You can make physical contact with this creature.
This is like emotions and happy and flowers growing, and it's like the other guy. It's just, but I can touch this. I'm not explaining things well. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. This creature and what's happening with that other guy are connected somehow. Or this creature is connected to the same thing that guy is connected to.
She grabs you. She grabs your hand, and as she grabs your hand, you see images of of falling a great distance, and as it's falling, it's sort of bracing itself for this fall, and it's hitting the ground hard. And as it hits the ground hard, it sort of sheds a part of itself. It's laying on the ground, barely able to breathe, until it looks over to the side and it sees a shape arrive, and you recognize the man. As the man kind of comes forward a little bit, it throws its hands up, and something comes over to protect it. And as the man reaches out, he grabs her neck, and she's scared, she's nervous, and she sort of pushes outward. And as she pushes outward, he falls backward. And she goes down into the ground, down. And you recognize the man from previous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you understand me? Can you understand what I'm saying? And then I go through every language I know. First I go primordial.
It looks at you and just sort of like... Yeah, and you see the same images before. You see the baby. You see the baby getting ripped away. You see the baby this time like has it's a human-looking baby, and then the baby changes, and it's got two heads, and you see the baby. You see more this time. You see the baby wrapped up in something, and you see the baby being held over a pit, and the mother stopping and holding her hands out like this, and chains are wrapped around the mother, and the person drops the baby anyway, and the mother just sort of lurches forward, and tears are streaming down this creature's face.
Am I seeing any of this, or am I just seeing her holding on?
I imagine she's explaining it in common as these images hit.
You wrote the note, the daughter. No? Someone else wrote it. You made the illusion, the giant illusion, and you made the man
baby.
Baby. She's saying baby? How can we help with baby?
And she looks over to where he is, and he's pulling.
Guys, pull.
Okay, so I go grab and help pull.
All right. Give me a strength check at advantage for all these people that are just sort of helping you as you're starting to pull up and stuff like that.
4, 19 plus 6, math 25. My bad.
25.
19 plus 6, yeah.
Yeah, you manage to pull up, and there's something wrapped in a cloth at the very end of this chain. With your last little bit of strength, you're feeling the sweat sort of like drip down your brow as it's a heavy sort of weight, and the thing is moving around and writhing on the ground, and the other creature just sort of runs over to where it is and starts taking the cloth off. And sure enough, you see something that looks smaller than this particular figure, but it's all white. It's a like a bright white. The feather, the fur, the two heads are white, and there's this feeling as the mother grabs onto the fur of the child. You guys all are blown backwards. Like there is a feeling of like a gut punch of emotion. You're hearing a symphony. You're eating the best food you've ever had in your life. It's the first time you made love with somebody that you genuinely cared for. Like it is this all of these emotions. The first time that you cast magic that was yours. Like all of you are having these cathartic moments where you're breathing in and breathing out, and there's this emotional release. And as they sort of grab hands and hold on to each other, she's ripping the chains off, and she's sort of holding it and sort of hugging it to her. It's about the size of a toddler, and she's about 4.5 feet. And they're just sort of holding on to each other, sort of rocking.
Can I heal like I did you?
She nods her head.
Okay, I cast healing word, but I'll do one level 1 right now. Not healing word. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm doing. It's the other one, the one that's better. Cure wounds, touch.
Okay.
Level 1, 1d8 plus 3. 6.
Okay. You notice a few of the cuts and the things that this thing wasn't really beat up, but the emotional trauma, some of the hair and the feathers are starting to fall off in places. You remember your books. And you remember of this creature that nobody's seen in a long, long time, almost akin to the dragon. It's been so long since anybody saw this. Highly magical creatures, emotional. You just remember the name of Bandersnatch.
I actually do not relay that to everyone at
Cool.
the moment.
So while that's happening with Thoe and the healing, I'm just gonna take all the little morsels left of my rations that I had. I'm just gonna like gesture, like try to get to the mother or the child, try to get some like physical strength back.
Yeah. There's this moment where she sort of smiles, and she holds her hand out to you, and looks to you and looks to the other hand.
I reach out.
And she holds a hand out, and everyone sort of joins hands, and there's this feeling of a sort of ritual casting, and as the casting ends, you guys are all standing on the surface where the egg was, You're back at full height. The cakes are still in your possession.
Okay.
How can we help the man?
She doesn't understand what you're asking.
He came here and then he left.
She looks at her child and she looks at you.
Did
and then
he hurt?
she projects to all of you the magic that went out. She ties that magic to another image of a beating heart. And as the beating heart, it comes kind of out and it's her beating heart. And she looks sad at you.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Is there nothing we can do?
I still might be able to help him.
Okay.
I have things to prepare, but I might be able to do it tomorrow. I don't know if it'll work or not, but if she can't do it, I might be able to.
So where should we keep her in the meantime? I mean, out here in the wood?
She's just looking. She doesn't understand the word. She's just sort of holding the
Where
child.
is your home?
She projects images in your head of water, sand, trees, cities.
I'm gonna reach out and touch her hand and think intently about home, the place, the tree that we found, and the man and his wife and child not seeing each other again. I'm gonna send that thought as hard as I can into her
Okay,
head.
she looks down at her child. Give me a persuasion check.
14 plus 18.
She looks at her child. And she looks over at all of you. And she opens her hands like this. And there's two images. There's one of her and her child, and there's one of the man running up to his child.
And so what do you take away from this?
It's her life or his.
Yes.
Well, then who could nurture the child best? Clearly her.
She needs to be free to go back where she came from.
True, but then we condemn the man to never see his child again.
Not necessarily. There may be another way. There's always another way.
Chloe, can you ask a question for me?
Yes.
Does she think he was trying to take her child?
Do you think he was trying to take your child?
She doesn't say that. She just... You get images of, like, running away from something, chasing, or, like, it was a guttural... She says
I
fear.
feel like she was trying to protect herself and her child, and part of... He got in the way of her putting out this protective spell. He was in the wrong... He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You say that in, like, Primordial?
Yeah.
She sends back the idea, or I was.
I'm gonna ask Chloe to share what you plan to do. Ask her if it'll work.
Oh. Do you know much of the magic of our people or our realm? I'm not sure that she's
Yeah.
it's gonna help
She
her.
says magic not here until me.
She brought the magic.
She was the beginning of the magic. So this may or may not work because she may be far too strong.
Right.
What can we do to help you?
She projects an image of the man and says, good?
I think so.
She says, mother?
Who? Mother? You?
Thoe, mother?
No. Not yet.
Thoe, mother?
My mother.
She shows the image of the woman holding the baby again, but instead of the hands ripping it out, it's furry green hands taking the baby. Thoe, mother?
You want me to take the baby? I don't know how I'm supposed to take a baby. I don't know anything about taking care of babies. I could make sure the baby was safe.
Find father?
Find the baby's father? We could find the baby's... Where's the baby's father? How are we supposed to find the baby? You need to give us more information. We will help any way we can. If we can find the father, we'll find the father and we will protect the baby and we will find...
So as I see her freaking out, I am casting comprehend language because I want to know what the heck is going on.
Okay, then you catch the end of that of like, find father. I don't understand. I don't know where the father is. You're going to have to give us more information to go off of. I don't know where the father
comprehend
is.
language.
Uh,
Zoe.
She wants us to find the father of the baby and she wants to hand the baby over to me and I'm not sure what to do with the baby. But we should because we need to help the baby.
Zoe.
Yes.
Calm yourself.
Okay.
She is asking for us to take her child.
We can take it. Okay. Where's the father?
She shows you images of a circular area, like the circular building, but it almost looks like with the stairs leading down. And this circular building is right here. And she says, take care, baby, show you.
Nice.
Okay, I put my arms out for the baby.
She picks up the child and the child looks confused, but it's in white fur, and as she hands the baby to you, there's this sort of moment, and then the baby responds to your hands, and there's fear. It's more guttural, it's less concrete ideas and more abstract ideas until it touches your skin, and then it turns a soft green, very akin to her fur.
Who's got a baby?
I was on a child.
She walks over and she kisses the baby, and she sends another image of the man ripping the child out, and she looks at you and she says, I am better. I am not that. And she kisses the baby and walks back away from all of you and breathes outward and sort of
Cat.
Sweetie, God, I love you. Alright, we'll get this fixed.
You're good. Just leave it right there. You're good. He's back in the camera. You're going to be banned from
Dramatic
D&D Cat.
moment.
Such a sweet moment.
Baby?
Baby. She disappears. And as she does, the baby, I say baby, but the child sort
This
of
is like 2-year-old size child?
2-year-old sized child, 3-year-old sized child,
Oof.
sort of
Like, oh no, because I'm big. I keep forgetting. I'm verbal. Big.
yeah, verbal.
But
But it sort of looks over at you and it projects images of shaking hands, hugs, just sort of like it shows you, it thanks, if it can't giving berries, it's soft concepts. And as the mother sort of dissipates and sort of floats off into the ether, you're each given one more vision.
Okay.
And it's another circular stairway. and there is a large shape wrapped in chains, and you flow past again. You flow past this room, this amphitheater where there are skeletons sitting facing this creature that's in the amphitheater, and you go past a room that has the food on the table and the fireplace, and there's a door in the passageway, and it just sort of opens its mouth, and it looks like there's gaping teeth. It looks like there was a mimic. And you're back up these steps, and there's these wood slats, but then as you go past the wood slats, there's stones covering it, and you go up through the floor of the stone slats, and you are in this large expanse full of these gorgeous tapestries, red, lining the walls, red carpet leading up to 2 thrones, and you look on as directly above sit the King and the Queen of Hearts. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Wonder. The gang got a baby.
Yeah. And a turtle.
And a turtle. And like you guys watch as this vision hits, and then don't know how it happened, but Marky is holding a cat again. He's like, this is trippy. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into an episode of Wonder. We've got some fun stuff. We hope you guys had fun tonight. Stay tuned to the Discord. Keep telling your friends. These episodes will be up on YouTube. The more you tell your friends about it, the more viewers we get, and the more we get to all experience the joy of Wonder. We love you guys. Thank you to my players. And I just have one more question before we leave. Do you wonder?